Let's take a quick look at how to change the default duration of both a still image and also a transition. When you import pictures into Premiere Pro, by default, here's my default folder here, these images last for 5 seconds. So when you drag these onto the timeline, you have 5 seconds of playtime for this particular image. There's that 5 seconds indicated right there. And there's your time code playing along. And there is 5 seconds and 0 frames. That can be changed. And so what you can do before importing images into your project is to make these changes ahead of time, anticipating how you think you want the project to come together. And so what we can do is come up to Project or to Edit here on the main menu, select Preferences, and then go to the General selection window. And this section right here, Video Transition Default, Audio Transition, and Still Image Default Duration. So you'll remember from previous lessons that our video is running at 30 frames per second. And so here we indicate the number of frames to indicate the duration of our image. And so it's 150 frames. And if you divide 150 by 30, you get 5 seconds. Or 30 frames per second times 5 seconds equals 150 frames. Simple arithmetic. Let's say we want it to last for 3 seconds. That would be 30 times 3, which would be 90 frames. So change that. And then go ahead and import your images. I'll put them in this change duration folder here. And I'll grab these 4 previously resized images. And now if I take this image, you'll see there it is. 2 seconds shorter. Now it's a 3-second image. Let's take a look at changing the default transition duration. And we can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these 4 images and drag them onto the timeline. And so the default transition right there, I'm going to press Control D and then double click that. Zoom in just a bit so I have a little more control there. And there you can see duration is 1 second. And you can also double click that and bring it up, and there's that duration there for 1 second. Now sometimes that might be a little too long. And so we could either change it like we've been doing. I could come in here and click that and change it to 15 frames, which would be a half a second. Right now it's 30 frames or 1 second. So I would put 15 there to make it 15 frames and to make that twice as fast there. But we could also go up to that window, Edit, Preferences, General, and then we could do that right here, Video Transition Default Duration, and change that to 15 frames and click OK. And so now I'll line that up, press Control D, and there's our duration right there, 15 frames. So that's a way you can set it up without having to constantly go back and do the edit over here. If you know that you want a certain amount of time for each of your images, then you can go and use the Edit, Preferences, General, and change the video transition default. You could also change the audio default in the same manner, except this one here you actually do put in the amount of time, seconds, and then the still image default duration, you can adjust that here.